What's good, peeps? All right, let's do this. Q&A part 19. I did want to film this in the morning and get it up today, but a few things came up. So we're filming this at just gone 11 in the evening. I am pretty tired, but let's crack on. No excuses. All right, first question here is from Finbar White. He says, hey, Ade, hope you're keeping well. I like the new sign. Thank you. My question for the Q&A is, with the Champions League not finishing until the end of August, do you think the new season should be pushed back till the end of September? It has to be. It has to be pushed back. I'm thinking early October. I mean, there's going to be no pre-season for these guys, no proper break. I know some people might say they had a break during COVID, right? 2.5 months of not doing much, but no break, getting away with their family, whatever they need to do just to kind of let their hair down, so to speak. The problem is, with the season starting so late back again, it's going to be continuous for them because you're going to have the Euros at the end of the season, which is going to be crazy, right? You've got the Euros at the end of the season. Then that's going to be pushed back a bit further as well. So they definitely need a break, though. End of this season, they need a month away at least. And just kind of recharge their batteries. But we'll see. They're not machines. Sometimes I think people think they're machines. They're not. You've seen already a few players have come back and just got injured immediately. Like, didn't James Milner injure his hamstring immediately? A few other players as well. In the Bundesliga as well, there's been so many injuries in the Bundesliga. These players need a break. Second question is, also, I was talking to a friend the other day and we were talking about dream fights. I said, peak Pac-Man versus peak Roberto Duran. What do you think? Keep smiling and keep believing in life, happiness, and good things. I like that. I like the last sentence. Peak Duran beats peak Pac-Man. As much as peak Pac-Man was frightening, peak Duran was equally frightening. I mean, could punch as well. Just a better boxer technically than Pac-Man, no doubt. Pac-Man had fast hands though. Like peak Pac-Man's hand speed. Has there ever been a faster boxer? Has there ever? Like, and not just faster in terms of those guys that throw like 1, 2, 3 punch combinations. Pac-Man used to blitz you like 6 or 7 punches and they had power in them. That's the difference, right? When Pac-Man hit you, it was with spite as well. It really hurt, or it looked like it hurt anyway. I mean, he put people to sleep, right? But I just think Roberto Duran was special. And that's what it is. I think Roberto Duran was special and he could box, and I think he would set traps for Pac-Man and counter him all night long. That's what I think. But it would be a good fight. All right, what else? Just going through the Patreon guys first, and then we'll get on to some guys that sent questions in by email, and then obviously the YouTube ones. All right, question here from William Nash. It says, you always say get in, get rich, get out. That being said, if you were AJ, would you retire now? Woo! Keep up the amazing work. That's it. No, he needs that defining fight, win or lose. Some people might say that fight was Klitschko. I don't believe it was. Just because of what people say, Klitschko was 41, he was on a 2-year layoff. He needs the Fury fight, right? He needs and then look, for me, if he were to beat Fury, calm down Fury fans, and become undisputed, call it quits. Call it quits. You're done. You're done for me. Because you would have, to beat or to fight Fury now, it looks like obviously he's going to have to fight Pulev, but it looks like he might have to fight Usyk as well. And that's another big name on the resume. And then Fury, you've done it all. So you could go out, and through those 3 fights, AJ, you're looking at, how much? I don't know, over 100 million? I mean, you're done, aren't you? You ticked every box. What else do you want? Olympic gold medalist, World Championship silver medalist, had the adversity, came back, beat Ruiz, and then if he were to beat Usyk and Fury, and these are massive ifs, by the way, but if he were to do that, then yeah, retire. Retire now? No. There's still a lot to chase. There's still defining fights. There's still a lot of money on the table, a lot of money, and he's still relatively young, no injuries as well, so I wouldn't retire yet. As much as I do say get in, get rich, get out. I think there might be another Patreon question. 2 seconds. Oh, there is, yeah. Question from James Goldsmith says that I know we're in a period of enforced lockdown, but would you say that the inactivity of some of today's top heavyweights, AJ comes to mind, will prevent them being viewed as all-time greats in the same way as previous champs? How much does activity matter now? For me, personally, it matters a hell of a lot, right? Like when we're seeing these fighters now fight some heavyweights once a year, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, that's why, look, even though people might laugh at the opposition in which Tyson Fury fought, that opposition being Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallin, at least he had 3 fights in the space of 12 months, right? With Tom Schwartz, Otto Wallin, then Wilder. It's activity. Again, it's not great activity, but it's activity. These boxers nowadays, like really and truly, maximum is twice a year for some of the top boxers. And I just think that's poor. I really do. Again, we always like to talk about yesteryear. And look, some fighters yesteryear didn't fight a lot, but the best ones did really have 3, 4 fights a year sometimes. It can happen. Like I wouldn't mind if a fighter did what a Tyson Fury did, if I'm honest with you. If Tyson Fury had 2 bum fights and then 2 elite fights, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't ridicule the bum fights. I really wouldn't. I'll just accept that, you know, you're going to have a couple of gimmies and then you're going to have a couple of big fights. I'd accept that. You don't need to fight elite after elite after elite, but you need to be active. Surely you need to be active. So I do think when it's all said and done, we'll look at these fighters' resumes and compare it to fighters back in the day that had like 50 or 60 fights, and look at guys now and we're seeing 30 fights. Do you know what I mean? We're just seeing 30. Like you look at Manny Pacquiao. I mean, obviously he's really up there, right? But I mean, this guy has 70 fights. 70. And you look at someone like Keith Thurman, who's not even had half of that and is already a part-time fighter. Hence why one's going to go down as an all-time great and one, unfortunately, will be forgotten. It's true. One will be forgotten. Any more questions? Sorry, guys, just double checking if any Patreon ones came in. All right, no, I think that's it. So, right, let's go on to just questions then. All right, question from Chris Everly. Hi, Ade, loving the content as always, especially the Ade and Friends series. Keep up the work, champ, and look forward to seeing you up on Sky very soon. Thank you very much, Chris. Question, with the WBC's change of position on Dillian White's mandatory shot, and that they now say Fury will have to fulfill that obligation by February next year, do you think we will see AJ fight both Pulev and Usyk in the end after all the talk about step-aside money and agreements with sanctioning bodies? And do you think he will come through both those fights should the Usyk fight also be made? Yeah, I kind of just touched on that in the last question, I think. AJ, I believe, now will have to fight both Usyk and Pulev. In saying that, Usyk still got to fight Chisora. That's no gimme. I mean, look, I think most people think Usyk will win, but it doesn't mean it's a gimme. That means it's a tough fight. And then it means, especially with Usyk and a lot what's happened to him in the last couple of years in terms of injuries, even if he does come through the Chisora fight, will he come through it unscathed without any injuries? We don't know. But I do feel that Joshua, if that is the case, will have to fight Pulev and Usyk. I do. Will he come through that? I think he will. I was very, very much high on Usyk. I still am to an extent, but I need to see him as a heavyweight. Before we all get overly excited, and I think we have, I need to see him as a heavyweight. I need to see how he moves. And not a Witherspoon. I know people might say he had that fight, but I need to see how he moves against a top heavyweight. Can he move like the way he did as a cruiserweight? Can he put that pressure on? Can he throw those punches in bunches? Literally, his movement and work rate as a cruiserweight is unreal. But we're now adding another potentially stone and a half to that frame. It's a lot of difference, right? I mean, go and look at even fast heavyweights like David Haye at cruiser. He was fast at heavy, but nowhere near as fast, right? David Haye at cruiser was ridiculous. So I'd like to see what Usyk can do. But again, once you put on that weight and you get a bit older, injuries do occur. And we are seeing Usyk now have a few injuries. So I will favour AJ to get past Usyk, but it won't be easy. Won't be easy at all. But I feel like AJ's size and power will be too much in the end. That's what I think. I am going to say that though, and I as an AJ fan. What's over this? Is this one? Oh, that's too much. Dude, you can't give me 10. Can't give me 10. All right, sorry, you guys don't even know what I'm talking about. Question here is from Unavid. Hey, Ade, big fan. You usually get some real rubbish fantasy matchups. This is hands down the best one you would have done. Calm down, dude. Coming from the guy who asked you about Calzaghe versus Ward. Patting yourself on the back, ain't you? About the best ones I've ever had. I get some good ones, but sometimes I just can't read them all. Dillian White versus Ray Mercer. It's a good one. I take it back. That's quite a good one. I can't do all 10, by the way. He's got 10. I can't do 10. I'll do 5 because we've got loads of questions to go on. I've already been doing this 20 minutes. Dillian White versus Ray Mercer. Ray Mercer. Felix Trinidad versus Shane Mosley at welter. Felix. Tito. Prince Naz versus Morales. I love Naz, but Morales all day. AJ versus Riddick Bowe. The Riddick Bowe, the guy that fought Evander Holyfield before he got fat, that Riddick Bowe all day, every day. Oscar De La Hoya versus Tommy Hearns. Tommy Hearns. I'm going to do one more. We got here. Michael Moorer versus Andy Ruiz Jr. Michael Moorer. Michael Moorer, definitely. Michael Moorer. All right, last one. I saw this one and this popped up. That's why. Andre Ward versus Bernard Hopkins at light heavy. It would have to be light heavy because Bernard Hopkins didn't fight at super middle and Andre Ward didn't fight at middle. I'm gonna go Bernard. I'm gonna go Bernard. I think Bernard would do that. Good fight though, but I'll go Bernard. All right, next question is from Jake Jansen. He says, "Hi Ade, hope you're good and keeping safe. My question is, does modern boxing now not annoy you with how boxers call each other out on social media, which then leads to actually nothing? We need more call-outs like in 2016 when Bellew called out Hay after his fight, or when Hay travelled to see Vlad to call him out. Not like when Fury and Wilder fought and AJ never even went to the fight. He should have been trying to get into the ring to confront the winner. Far too many social media call-outs which lead to nothing. Thanks again for all the videos." You know what? I agree. I do agree. And you know why I agree? Because you gave me examples. So well done, Jake. And you're right. I remember when David Hay literally got Vlad on the staircase. Do you remember that? Literally got him on the staircase. Cameras were there. I don't know what it was for. I can't remember. And he literally just went face to face with him. That's when you really want to fight, right? And you're right. When Tony Bellew, immediately after the fight, went to David Hay ringside and started putting... That's how you get us excited. I mean, all these call-outs now on Twitter are just crap. Just absolute nonsense. And I also agree with you about AJ. If I'm AJ, and look, I get it, AJ's a big man, he probably thinks like I've got 4 belts, I'm not doing it. If I'm AJ though, Fury Wilder, I'm ringside. I am ringside. And I'm forcing myself in that ring. That's what I'm doing. That's not really his personality or his persona, but that's what I used to like call-outs for. David Hay, that's a good example. I forgot about David Hay. I'm trying to remember why he did that. Like, where was it? Was it in Germany? You said it was. I'm not sure if it was, but it might have been. Can't remember, but that's what call-outs were like back in the day, right? Obviously, no social media, so you've got to do that, but that's what it was. Nowadays, pathetic. All right. This question is from FC. Which boxer has been the best to interview and why? What boxer? I think Chris Eubank Jr. I think when I interviewed him, I interviewed Chris Eubank Jr. prior to Eubank versus Billy Joe Saunders. And there was this real energy about him and his dad. They very much an enigma, right? And that was, for me at the time, very exciting, right? Just to get that big interview. Chris Eubank Jr. was a massive name, but still is a big name, but was because of the build up to that fight. And he had that, again, mystique and aura about him because he was unbeaten and his dad was talking really loud and his dad was right there. So I'm interviewing him, his dad was right there. And just for me, as I'm 39, so I grew up on Chris Eubank Sr. and Nigel Benn. Just to interview Chris Eubank Jr. and his dad, who I was a massive fan of, to be right there, felt special. It kind of felt like, my God, we're actually doing this. We've arrived. And it was big. It was very, very big. All right, next question is, if someone would like to get into the boxing industry media via YouTube or otherwise, what advice would you give them to successfully get their foot in the door initially? Kind of know what you want to do. I do think with boxing, especially YouTube media, that there's two ways to obviously do it. Well, there's more than two, but the obvious two are to do what I do, right? So basically just sit down and talk about boxing and record it and put it up. And I think that the benefit of doing something like this is you can pretty much do as many videos as you want, right? You can do as much content as you want and just get better and better. So you've got to decide what you want to do. Do you want to do this? Or do you want to do what the IFL TVs and boxing socials do, right? Where you're going out there, you're interviewing guys, you're going to shows. Neither are easy. Like, don't get it twisted as to how easy you think either. Like, what Rob Tebbett and Coogan do is unbelievably difficult. Unbelievable. I think I've seen some of the comments underneath their videos when they do interviews, and everyone's like, oh, I should have asked that question. It's tough. It's hard work what they do. They put a grind in and put a shift in. This is hard work as well. And I say this is hard work because I feel this way of doing it, it's harder to grow your subscriber base because you're basically just you, aren't you? You know, you don't have AJ sitting next to you to, you know, if I put an interview up with AJ right now, it's going to get numbers. Obviously, me doing this by myself, it's difficult to get numbers. So you've really got to know which one you want to do. But then, more importantly, you've got to work your ass off. I'll tell you this. A lot of people come to me and ask for advice. I get a lot of emails. Some I respond to, some I don't. And the reason I don't respond is because a lot of people will say things like, Ade, we're starting a new YouTube channel. What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. I don't respond because I want to see what they're about. And I will routinely go onto their YouTube page and see if they're actually doing content. And a couple of them get crap numbers, which you're going to get, like 50 views, 30 views, and then they haven't done a video for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, channel's dead. They've stopped. And it's almost like you can't get deflated by that. You've just got, if you really want this, you've just got to keep going. And you've got to ask yourself why you're doing it. Fuck the numbers. You know, you're doing it because you enjoy doing it and you like talking boxing. The numbers will come eventually. Like when I look at my old videos, I was getting like 30 views. When me and Ryan started out, I was getting like 10 views. But we enjoyed it. It wasn't because of the views. We just enjoyed talking boxing, as I do now. So yeah, the most important advice is keep on going. Because so many people just quit and it's just poor. Like, don't quit. Don't have that mentality. All right, next question is from Tamid Udin. This is a long one, but we'll try and get it done. Hi, Ade. Hope you're well. I've seen Amir Khan's comments recently on his Instagram live, and it seems he is close to retiring. It has been mentioned before, but why does he not get the credit he deserves? He has won he won silver at age 17 when boxing was so forgotten in England, enabled funding for Team GB that led to the De Girls, Campbells, AJs, Boatses, etc. He was the catalyst and it's forgotten about. He fought 14 world champions, most in the recent era, if I'm not mistaken, 2 times world champion, and carried the flag for UK home and in America when boxing had little public interest before Eddie came along. Great career and encouraged so many South Asian kids to pursue sport, and try to make it in his field, not to forget the millions he's donated, raised for charity. You basically just outlined why he should be more appreciated. I done an Ade and Friends the other day, and I spoke about this as well. Like, why is he not given the respect he's given? It's strange. I sometimes, and I think a few of the guys on the Ade and Friends were saying that, especially with his career, forget what he's done outside for a second, just his career. It's almost like you remember, for some reason, the knockout losses more than you do the big wins, which is strange, right? But you remember Breeders Prescott, you remember Garcia, you definitely remember Canelo, and unfortunately, you remember the Crawford fight, which wasn't a knockout loss, but looked like a quit. I think people sometimes remember those more than the wins over Maidana and Paulie and Collazo and Devon, maybe. Personally, from my own perspective, I think he's unbelievable for British boxing and has been and was. Unbelievable. Like you say, it was because of him that GB Boxing got funded, right? It could have been, look, I think it would have continued eventually, but There was a time when they were talking about defunding it. Amir Khan got the silver and sort of galvanized it again, and that's the reason they didn't defund it. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But a fantastic boxer. It's a shame about the Kell Brook situation, right? That would have definitely, I think people would have respected him a lot more if he took the Kell Brook fight. But when it's all said and done, he's had an amazing career. It's an outstanding career. He was legitimately, I think, the number one 140-pounder in the world at one stage, and should have got the Floyd Mayweather fight as well. But I don't know, man. It's a shame. I think sometimes, though, people only remember you when you retire. So maybe when he does retire, people will look back and start reeling off the achievements and be like, okay, you know what, Amir Khan was solid. Right now, sometimes when we're in the moment, I think you remember the crap more than you do the good. And unfortunately for Amir Khan, there has been a lot of crap in terms of the knockouts, in terms of maybe not fighting in the UK and chasing that American dream. People think of that, which is stupid, but they do. All right. Long-winded answer, Ade. All right, question here from John James. It says, hi, Ade. First, thank you for doing what you do. We appreciate it. Question, if you were to have 3 professional boxers join you on Ade and Friends, who would you pick and why? 2 sets, UK boxers and American boxers. UK boxers, I want people that clash in personality. So I want Chris Eubank Jr., I want Tyson Fury, and I want Dillian White. That would be hilarious. That would be fantastic, just because of personalities more than anything. All 3 of those guys are just so different, but just, like, honestly, I feel like they are what they are. They are what they are. Like, some people, I feel like, put it on for the camera, talk well for the camera. I think these guys, especially Dillian White. Dillian White, he is what he is, right? Like, you know, you're talking rubbish. I can't even do his accent. But Dillian White's fantastic. Eubank Jr. is fantastic. So is Fury. America. America. Who would I have in America? That's a good one. I think I might take the Brat Pack. 3 of those guys. So I think I'd pick Gervonta Davis, Jamel Charlo, and Adrian Broner. Because, you know what it would be entertaining. Let's be honest, it would be entertaining. You know what it is? As much as people, you know, talk about them and what they do outside the ring and they're not serious, at least they're entertaining. Some of these boxers paint dry. It's like watching paint dry. Every interview, it's almost like, at least they give you energy, you know? So I would go with those 3. Jesus Christ, you know, I'm still on emails. I'm not even got into YouTube yet, you know. ERZ says, you know what, people, I'm going to sort of, from now on, people, just one question, please. Like, ERZ has sent in 6 different questions, and I don't know if I can do it, ERZ. Just one question, because there are so many, and I want to try and get through as many people. Hi, Ade, I have a few questions. Who do you think would win between Deontay Wilder and Tim Witherspoon? Tim Witherspoon. That's what I would go for. Wilder's not a good boxer. He can punch. We all know that, but most heavyweights can punch. I think a better boxer in Tim Witherspoon, I think, beats him. But then again, Ortiz. But I'll say Tim Witherspoon. Marvin Hagler versus Roy Jones at super middle. Super middle, you've got to go Roy, right? Just because Hagler middle, but super middle, Roy. Too fast, too big. Roy went up to heavyweight. That shows how big he was. Too fast, too big. Last one. What is the most brutal boxing match you have ever seen? Well, to be fair, I did commentate on a boxing match where the guy died. So that's, I mean, you can't get more brutal than that, can you? A guy died. That was in South Africa. So we'll leave it as that. All right, question here. All right, the last question here on emails is from Chris Everley. He says, hi, Ade. After seeing the WBC ordering Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell, do you think we are going to see Garcia massively duck Campbell? I certainly do, and would pick Campbell to win a decision if they fought with fair judges. Obviously, it won't be so. If they do, Garcia will be done huge favours, but would be great matchup to see. Your thoughts? Cheers again, Chris. I don't think, by the way, that Garcia would duck Campbell. Not at all. Garcia's handlers might duck Campbell, so his manager and Oscar, but Garcia wants all the smoke. I mean, this guy wants everything. He wants Gervonta Davis. I believe him, by the way. He wants Gervonta Davis. He wants Devin Haney. He wants all the smoke. So he definitely isn't ducking Campbell. And plus, they'll look at Campbell as a guy that has lost every time he stepped up, right? Linares, close fight, but lost. Loma, lost. Even Mendy back in the day, lost. So they don't look at Luke maybe the way we do. I think they know he's a good fighter, but there has been losses on the record. These unbeaten young kids are just full of energy. They don't think they can lose, right? They do not think they can lose. So they're definitely not scared. Obviously, if the fight's in America, then yeah, Luke's never going to win it on the scorecards if it's a close fight, no doubt. And it will be in America just because it will be on the zone and they'll be hoping for good sign-ups. But let's hope it happens, because the WBC ordering that fight and it actually happening are two completely different things. I think I might have another one, actually. I just saw something. Oh no, that's someone wanting to come on Ade and Friends. All right, let me just quickly double check the time on the phone, and then we'll start going through the questions on YouTube. First question is from Rampage Ryan. It says, who is your favorite UFC fighter? But he's done fighters. So my favorite UFC fighters, John Jones, by far, Amanda Nunes, who else? Chris Cyborg. Who else? BJ Penn. 100. BJ Penn was my number one before John Jones' emergence, by the way. I like Conor McGregor. I really do. I think people like, it's because Conor McGregor talks a lot, right? And has lost a couple of times. I think people sleep on how good he is. Like, this guy's good, So those are my favorite. I think, was that 4 or 5? If it was 4, number 5 would be Anderson Silva, but I think that was already 5. All right, next question is from Junad Sharif. Says, in a potential matchup with Joshua versus Usyk, who do you actually see winning the fight? I've kind of answered that one already. I need to see Usyk as a heavyweight fighting against someone that's coming to win. Witherspoon didn't do that. He came to survive and get a paycheck. So let's see how he gets on with Chisora, and then I'll make my mind up. For now, I would say Joshua. Ben Donovan says, hi, Ade. If Dave Allen versus Hughie Fury goes ahead on the White versus Povetkin card, do you think Dave Allen has a chance if he can get inside and work the body? Also, how competitive do you think the fight will be? Yeah, firstly, there does need to be, I think, another fight on that card, right? It's 4 fights at the moment. I think the British Boxing Board of Control have limited it to only 5 fights per card, so there is a space. And I think that would be a good fight in addition to what we have already. So what have we got? We've got Katie Taylor versus question mark. Fingers crossed it's Bassoon or Serrano. We've got Clay Congo, Kuzman versus Bacoli, and White Povetkin. Another heavyweight fight. I personally think that Hughie Fury would absolutely school Dave Allen. True. School him. Potentially stop him. Yeah. I see how people think it's competitive, because if you were to do like a British rankings, they might be very close. Like Hughie Fury right now might be like 7, off my top of my head, by the way, and Dave Allen maybe 10, but they are miles apart in terms of boxing ability. Hughie Fury is a very good boxer. Let's not forget the people that are beaten before everyone kind of criticizes him. Povetkin, Pulev, Parker, right? And none of them stopped him, right? I mean, some punches in there, He would absolutely, I'm saying it now, he would destroy Dave Allen. He'd destroy him. And I don't think he would be afraid to let his hands go like he was against Povetkin, Pulev, and Parker. He will let his hands go as well. If he lets his hands go against Dave Allen, get rid of him early. That's what I think. So I don't think it will be competitive. Cavalli Boxing says, hi, Ade, keep up the good work. Inspiring me to become a YouTuber, laughing out loud. But my question is, who is the most successful boxer, athlete out of Newham or East London, let's say? Ooh. What a good question. I mean, if you're just talking athlete, because you said boxer, athlete, you're talking athlete, I mean, there are millions. I mean, Mo Farah is number 1. He used to run for Newham and Essex Beagles, so you're not going to get higher than that. I don't think there's anyone else in Newham that's a sir. So it has to be Mo Farah. right? Boxer-wise, I mean, talking about like boxers now, for example, Lawrence Okoye's from Hackney, Anthony Yarde's from Ilford. These are all sort of East London. There's been tons of footballers, tons, like, too many to list, but so many footballers have come out of East London as well that have gone on to do really good things. So Mo Farah would be the biggest one. Ad Dub, says, who is the most hardworking and the least hardworking boxer in the game right now and in the past? I don't know. Hard working is difficult, right? And unless you're in the gym and watching these guys, I don't go to the gyms. I wish I could kind of phone a friend right now and just tell me about some of the guys in the gyms. I'm trying to think of a boxer that always looks like they're in and around their weight class, but are naturally big. Like Sean Porter looks like he works. Right? He doesn't look like Sean Porter doesn't look like he drinks. Could be wrong, but he looks like he's so strict and just dedicated to the sport. Least hardworking. It's difficult, because I know people might listen to that question and say, "Oh, Broner." I mean, people, you know how hard it is to make weight. Like, it's not easy, It's not easy. But I just think of Broner as the guy that probably everyone thought had the most talent and didn't really live up to his talent. But then he's like, a 3-4 weight world champion. So, I mean, that's not easy. That's not easy, is it? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. Pretty Boy Fizzy says, Pretty Boy Flizzy, apologies, says, what keeps you motivated? Oh. What keeps me motivated? I kind of said this on my Patreon account. I've done a video talking about this where I think I've still got a photo of it. I'm pointing because my phone's it's on my phone. Screenshot I took last year where in my bank account I had like £30 and 23 pence or something like that. And I mean £30, 23 pence with not knowing anything's coming in. Like there's no money coming in. I'm done. I'm broke. And I think the motivation is never to get to that again. Like ain't happening. I'm not joking. It ain't happening. Like having to kind of beg and ask for money and borrow money ain't happening. So that's what motivates me. Also, is I've got these weird dreams and aspirations. Like I can't even sleep at night sometimes, where I feel like I've not done enough during the day. I've not worked enough. I've not done a couple of videos. I've not like networked. Like I've got these crazy ideas, and I just need to achieve them. And I will. I know, like, I work hard. Obviously, you guys see this, but behind the scenes, I do, like, put a shift in, man. Just because, right now, we've all got something, right? We've all got something we can do. I love doing this. I like talking, engaging with you people. And I feel like this is kind of my passion. And I feel like it's always about make your passion your paycheck. And far away from that right now, but I know I will do it because I want to and I can and I'm capable. And right now I don't have anything holding me back. There are no kids, right? I can't make excuses like a lot of people can and say, oh, I would do it, but I've got kids, I've got this and that to do. I don't have any of those. So I haven't got no excuses. So, and because of that, fucking we're grinding. We are grinding. Yes, I could go further into that question. That's a bloody good question, but we'll leave it for another day. Leo Bryan says, Ade, Prime Vitali versus Joshua, Wilder, Fury, Usyk, White. Does he wipe everyone out or does he lose to one of them? I think Fury will be the toughest one just because he's a mover. Usyk's a mover, but he's too small. White will get annihilated. And I think Joshua will get all of them. I think Fury will be the only one that beats him. I think the rest will get smoked. I really do. Just in case says, do you think Fury will lose before he retires? And if so, which heavyweights do you think have the best chance of beating him? Depends how long he goes on for. Right now, I do think he looks very, very good. And I think one thing we don't count with these athletes is confidence, right? Confidence plays a big part. And right now, he is super, super confident. I mean, if we thought he was confident going into the Klitschko fight, right now, he's like on cloud 9 right now. Financially, he's there. He's now got his belts, which he was begging for, the Ring magazine, the WBC, which for me are the two best belts you could have. Add the lineal to it if you want. Yeah, it's going to be tough to beat him right now. I mean, if there's anyone that could do it right now of like the top heavyweights, it's AJ. AJ's the one, right? Just because he has punching power. There is some boxing ability there. Not as good as Fury, but I think his fundamentals are good. But then if he stays on for longer, there are other guys coming up that could cause him problems. The Tony Yokers of the world, people like that people are sleeping on. I think Tony Yoka right now could beat some guys in the top 10 or some guys that we think are top 10 guys. I think Tony Yoka could beat them. I think Tony Yoka just needs to have a couple of fights against top 20 guys. I'd like to see Tony Yoka right now versus Charles Martin. I think Tony Yoka right now beats Joyce and Dubois. I'm saying it right now. I really do. I just think people maybe don't mention him because he's not been linked with fighting anyone, and he had that issue with the drugs. I don't know if you remember, he missed free test and got a ban by the French Federation. So there's a bit of a question mark with him. Question here from Noonan S says, huge fan of the guy, but does Carl Froch receive a royalty for mentioning Wembley Stadium and 80,000 people? Look, Carl Froch is obviously a bit of tongue in cheek, but I'm telling you now, if I knocked out my nemesis in front of 80,000 at Wembley, I'd be talking about it. Like, it's a big feat, you know. From where Carl Froch was, where he was, remember Carl Froch was almost like a bit of a road runner fighter, you know. He used to fight on, like, away from home. Obviously, he was in that Super 6 tournament under Mick Hennessy. Came back, right? Had the fight with had the fight with Butte. Was at Nottingham Arena, I think it was. The way he's grown, it's like, I think we think of him like born as a superstar, if that makes any sense. Like someone that's come out of the Olympics or, you know, won a world championship gold medal and he's kind of almost heralded as the next best thing. It wasn't like that. I do remember him coming through young and there was a lot of talk about him and a few others, but he wasn't heralded. So the way he's kind of built himself out and to go out on top like that, 80,000, like knockout, like that was a clean knockout, especially considering the issues that George Groves gave him the fight before and the controversy about it. I mean, you're going to talk about it. But yeah, he does talk about it too much. Jake Mundy says, how would you rank your top 10 all-time great heavyweights? Difficult question. Because there are some guys that maybe deserve to be in there, but won't be in there because they were in an era with so many other greats, like Ken Norton. Like, you listen to the way people talk about Ken Norton. Like, Ken Norton is such a great fighter, but maybe he didn't have that run, right, because of Fraser and Ali and Foreman in that same era. We don't think of Ken Norton. Ken Norton was so good. Obviously, you got the likes of Joe Lewis, Ali, Lennox Lewis will be in there. Evander Holyfield will be in there as well. Larry Holmes will be in there. How many is that? 5, 6? You know, Vlad had a run, you know, like not a run in terms of beating names, but a run in terms of like the amount of times he defended that belt. That's a huge run. Some people might chuck Vlad in like 12, 13, maybe not top 10, but just his run in terms of records broken might sneak in there somewhere. For those of you that are asking me about Mike Tyson right now, like I can telepathically hear you. Don't be stupid. Mike's definitely not a top 10 guy. Olamide Doherty, see how I pronounce that proper Nigerian way. Olamide says, do you cook often? And if so, what do you like to cook the most? I do cook a lot. I am quite healthy. So I just cook healthy food all the time. So a lot of fish, a lot of chicken, not so much red meat. I do sometimes cook Nigerian food. This guy's asking. So you guys probably listen to this thinking, what the fuck's he talking about? But I do like to cook eba amala with some stew. But I'm pretty healthy. You know, I probably only eat shit, like proper crap, once every 3-4 weeks. I'm pretty healthy, which is why I probably don't look my age, as some people say. Let me quickly check the time, please, on this, so that we don't go over. Oh, no, we've still got plenty of time. All right. Ash1 says, if Frampton beats Herring, where does he rank in British history? Freeweight world champion and overseas victories like Santa Cruz. He'd be in my top 10 pound for pound of the modern era. What is the modern era? Like, what's the modern era? Is the modern era the last 30 years, 20 years? Yeah, it's a good shout. It's a good shout. Don't know though. It seems very like, I don't know. It's just easy, innit, to get like to be considered a great nowadays, innit? Am I being harsh on Frampton here? Because in my head, I don't know why, but I'm thinking of 3 wins. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm thinking Santa Cruz. Again, I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm thinking Scott Quigg, and now I'm thinking of Herring, right? I mean, can I be honest with you? Herring wasn't ever considered like, it's not like he's beating Herring and Herring's a fellow great. Do you know what I mean? Herring's not. Let's just get it out blunt. Santa Cruz, good win, solid win. Scott Quigg, maybe because it was a British fight over here and we were like, oh, Scott Quigg. Do you know what I mean? So, no, for me, no, not a top 10 pound for, no, I'm not having it. Let me kind of backtrack a bit, not discrediting Carl Frampton, massive Carl Frampton fan. In fact, there's a video that me and Ryan did for Box Talk where we were going back and forth. He chose Scott Quigg, I chose Carl Frampton. I was really high on Carl Frampton, but that doesn't mean I'm going to say silly things like top 10 pound for pound of all time, or sorry, of this modern era. I can't give it to you. Can't give it to you. But again, it depends what you mean by modern era. Rayban Khan says, hey, Addy, my brother, you're absolutely smashing the content during the pandemic, man. How long will the effect of the pandemic have on the landscape of boxing? And would you ever consider permanently moving abroad? 100% I would consider moving abroad. 100%. You know what it is? It's just, I just want an easier life sometimes. I do desperately want to move back to Nigeria. I do. I wouldn't mind moving. You know what it is? This world is for traveling and living. Right, I don't understand people that don't want to travel and experience and live somewhere else. I mean, I'm fortunate. I've traveled quite a lot, and there aren't many countries I'd live in though. But I definitely would move abroad, even if it's for 2 or 3, 4 or 5 years. 100%. I don't want to see the same fucking thing every day. I want to move abroad and experience different things, experience different cultures, food, music, alcohol, ladies. You get me? As for the landscape of boxing, yeah, it's completely messed up, isn't it? Let's be honest. No big fights are going to happen. Not now anyway, not until the end of the year, which is a shame. Think of all the big fights we've missed. Loads. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Small hall shows are dead, right? All those small hall promoters are probably, the finish probably gone, right? I mean, if we can't have crowds back until 2021, then they're dead, which is a shame because they're the breeding ground for some of these guys. A lot of these guys come through small hall shows. So what does it mean for those guys that are like 1-0 right now or 2-0? I mean, is Eddie or Frank really going to sign them? Do you know what I mean? They would have gone through small hall shows. Fact is, Eddie right now can put on these fight cards, but you only can do 5 fights a card. So it's not like he can chuck hundreds of people on these cards. He can't. Yeah, so it's a shame. What's this one? Niall McKeown says, what is your opinion on boxing beats and rhymes? I haven't listened to him, if I'm honest with you. You know what it is? One video, I think I subscribed to him the other day because someone else mentioned it. And I was going to watch a video today, but I just forgot. So I have to sit down and watch him. I'm guessing you think he's pretty decent by saying it, or do you want me to say something controversial? I haven't listened to him now, I have to be honest with you. Mr. Pound 08 says, are you still planning to do the Wembley live Q&A once things get back to normal? I am 100% planning to do a Box Park Wembley live Q&A, bring the green chair, some music, some guests, just have some fun, all right? Let's have some fun. It was supposed to happen in May. I don't know when it's going to happen next. Fingers crossed it still does happen though, because they're keen on doing it. I said I could bring 200 people. We shall see. Robert Adnams says, hey Ade, hope you're keeping well. Couple of fantasy matchups for you. Who wins? Povetkin versus Morrison. What Morrison? Is that Tommy Morrison you're referring to? As in Rocky 5. That must be right. That's a good little matchup, that actually. I'm going Povetkin, man. I think Povetkin's hard as nails, mate. Hard as nails. I'm going Povetkin. Mosley versus Spence. I'm going Spence at 147. Mosley was small. I think people forget that Mosley came up from a lighter weight class. Obviously had some good stuff, some good work at 147. But Mosley's best work was at 135. So I would go. I'd go Spence to beat Mosley. Just too big. Nick Turk says, as a new subscriber, can I ask what's in the mug? Coffee was in the mug. I think some people think, I don't know, did they think what? Jack Daniels, think I'm that bad, that Jack Daniels was in there. Some people, I'm looking because there's a mug there, but that's empty. Some people actually thought there was nothing in the mug. They're just holding the mug for the sake of holding the mug. No, coffee. It gets me going in the morning. I mean, I film a lot of these Today in Boxing episodes, or everything I've been filming in the morning. I'm filming at like 8 in the morning. So I need the coffee just to kind of get going. Mr. Chewbacca says, when the AJ versus Fury fight happens, what do you think the chances are for it happening at Wembley? 0. To me, it looks like the reason they agreed on the fight is because they probably finally got the money right. What if the only way that purse gets paid for if it stays in Saudi? Greetings from Serbia. I have absolutely no problem in going to watching that fight in Saudi. Saudi. I know some people won't like me saying that, but I went there for AJ Ruiz, and it was perfect. There was nothing. I met some guys out there, Raps on TV, Pep Talk. I was out there with Boxing Social. We worked most nights, had a laugh, had a joke, caught up, talked boxing. It was great. The fight was good, or the atmosphere. The fight wasn't great, but the atmosphere was good. I have no problems. I just want to see the fight. That's all I care about. Right now, I do not care what country it's in. I just want to see the fight. So as long as it happens, not a problem for me. Brad H says, hi, pal. Do you drive? And if so, what do you drive? And what's your favorite dream car, if any? I don't drive, but I am actually looking at a car as we speak, just because Sky sends you anywhere and everywhere. And if you don't drive, it's going to be a problem. For example, I went to Arsenal's training ground, and that's like in the middle of nowhere. If you don't have a car, you ain't getting there, right? It's nowhere near a station or anything. So I am going to get a car. I'm not quite sure what to get. I mean, I have to be brutally honest. I can't afford what I want to get. So I might just get something like, I don't know, something small engine, like an Audi A3 or something, which is clearly not my dream car. My dream car is a 1965 Ford Mustang, Eleanor. That's my dream car, and I will get that car. That is my dream car of all time. That or a 1989 Porsche Carrera. I'm very much a classic kind of guy. I don't know where it's come from, but I do like old. I'm not a fancy dude at all. Like, most of my trainers are Converse. Yeah, I'm not trying to get the latest Nike Air Jordans or anything. I'm like, just keep it plain, keep it simple. That's what I am. So, yeah, the 1965. Oh, no, sorry, it's not 1965. I think it's 1967 Ford Mustang Fastback. I think so. But yeah, that's my dream car. Jake Aqua says, hey, Ade, hope you're doing well, man. How do you see the next 5 years panning out for Liverpool? I can see them totally cleaning up both domestically and in Europe as long as Klopp is in charge, coming from a very jealous Arsenal fan. I pray to God. But personally, look, in 5 years, I would take, if they said Ade, another 2 Premier League titles in 5 years, I'll take that right now. Like 2 Premier Leagues and maybe a couple of FA Cups and 1 Champions League. Sign up now. I think United are going to spend, and they look dangerous already, to be fair, with Pogba and Fernandes. They're looking good, don't they? I think Chelsea will be inconsistent. Man City, remember Guardiola's only got a year left on his contract, So will he renew? Who knows? If he doesn't, it really does depend upon what kind of transfers Klopp can get in. The team right now is kind of at a perfect age. But Salah's, I think, 28. Mane's 28. I think Virgil's 28, 29. Have they got 5 good years in them? I don't know. So he's going to need to reinvest. We'll see how he does, right? And let's hope. Let's hope. Well, I hope you don't. You're Arsenal. All right, next question here is from Billy Hamilton. Hi, Ade. Love your videos. My question is, what do you think David Haye would have done if he never fought Tony Bellew? Good question. I think, to be fair, he was in line to fight Anthony Joshua, They were talking about a massive fight between him and AJ at Wembley Stadium. And that would have been a massive fight at the time. A lot of people were saying that David Haye would beat AJ. I remember it. So I do wonder if he would have had to have fought someone of note before AJ. I'm trying to think who he might have fought. Just to kind of, I don't know, put himself in the rankings, like maybe a Manuel Char, like that, right? I mean, Manuel Char's been in and around those rankings for ages. But they were talking about him versus AJ, which would have been interesting. Luca Basso says, love the channel, bro. My question is, what is, in your opinion, the greatest boxing rivalry ever? Good question. Like immediately, when you said it, for some reason, I immediately thought Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali. I think Muhammad Ali made that a rivalry because he was saying things that weren't too nice about Joe. I think Joe just disliked him, but it didn't seem like real animosity. In terms of real animosity, Nigel Benkus Eubank Senior, that was real. The first time, they hated each other. Well, Nigel hated him. Chisora, in terms of like this era, Chisora versus White have always been interesting, right? Especially again, first time round, bloody hell. Remember that the gloves are off thing where he throws the water in his face and how mad did it well? So they definitely don't like each other. So there's a couple of good ones there. This question from Wazza A. What's good at A? I'm a massive Mayweather fan. Your thoughts on Yaya Mayweather facing 99 years in prison? I didn't even know about this. She had the childhood billions around the world can only dream of, but somehow managed to ruin it. Floyd has had a tough time of recent with the passing of the mother of his children and the legendary Roger Mayweather, rest in peace. I didn't even know about this Yaya Mayweather situation. What has she done? Sorry, I'll sort of quickly Google this. What does she do? Oh, she stabbed someone. Oh, God. Is he dead? The person she stabbed. She stabbed the mother of rapper, NBA young boy. Don't want to get involved in all this crap. If the person, look, I'm not trying to stab, look, she should go to jail, right? 99 years for stabbing. Look, I'm not even trying to defend it, but she's a kid. How old is she? 89, 99, 100 years. 100. I don't know. Floyd's going to have the best lawyers in the world on this, but look, she should go if she's done wrong, but I just feel like 99 years is extreme, no? Don't you? Am I like the only one that thinks that? I hope not. TYZEHD. Ties. Can't you just get normal names on YouTube? All this TYZ here. Who do you think won the second fight between Amanda Nunes and Valentina Shevchenko? And do you think they should do a third one since they're both running out of opponents in their respective division? By the way, you were great in the Purgatory documentary. Thank you very much. I've got a lot of energy. A lot of people didn't have that energy that I have. I thought Amanda Nunes won it just, but they've got to run it back again. They've got to, right? Yeah, it's the only fight for both of them right now. The only thing is, I don't know. Like, right now it's 2-0 to Amanda. It shouldn't be, but it's 2-0. Do you do it again? Like, is there a rivalry there? I think they're trying to find someone else, right? But look, for me, it's a great fight. And if they run it again, who knows? But with Amanda now fighting at 145 like she's done, I think she might now just be too big for Valentina, who can fight and has fought at 125, right? And is the 125 champion. So I don't know, man. One's fighting at 125, one's fighting at 145. I mean, obviously they're going to meet at 135, but you can clearly see for the fact that Amanda could never in her life make 125, never, and Valentina does, says there's a huge size difference, huge. John Los W says, "Hi Ade, are you interested in earning another income in the Forex world?" The funny thing is, I am, because I'm actually looking at that as well. Like I'm very much trying to look at sort of investments and shares and Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So John, send me an email. Let's talk. He also says, "And how do you feel about gyms being open again potentially soon?" Craving it. I feel like a crack addict right now for the gym. I am craving the gym. Like, but they're going to be so packed, aren't they? Let's be honest. It's going to be horrible. And I just want to see how they're going to do it. Or like, I don't know, man. But yeah, all this shit at home, like the spin bike, I'm tired of it already. It was a cheap one as well. Well, I didn't know it was cheap when I bought it actually, but it just makes too many squeaking noises. It's just crap. I've got a bit of weights there. It's just not the same. Not the same. I missed the gym. So hopefully it happens. All right, final couple of questions. Krishnan Sen says, with 4 out of the picture at World's Strongest Man, who do you think will win? The current champion. Remember, 4 didn't win it last time out. Martins Lissis. Is it Lissis? Licis. Can't pronounce that. He won, so I expect him to do it again. Unless Brian Shaw competes. If Brian Shaw competes, then you never know. But I expect Martins to win it again, to be honest with you, even if 4 was there. Who knows, right? Nathan says, where would you rank Ricky Burns amongst other Brits over the last 10 to 15 years? Always thought he was underrated, a good fighter in his prime, a free weight world champion. Yeah, he was a good fighter, wasn't he? I just remember, you know what it is? I remember the losses. I don't know why. I remember like Crawford coming over, Beltran coming over. Was it Beltran that got a dodgy decision? Sorry, one sec. Someone got a very, very dodgy decision against him, and they kind of went mad. I'm pretty sure it was Beltran. Let's have a look. 2-6. And Dongo beat him as well. But it was someone that got it. Wait, the draw. Yeah, Beltran, that was the one. And then there was that guy, Gonzalez, that retired injured, who was clearly winning that fight comfortably. So, yeah, look, good fighter, decent fighter. I don't know, I'm going to have to think about where he should be ranked, but solid pro, right? Solid pro. And everyone says a great guy as well. Someone's asked here, and I was going to skip this question, but I don't want to skip it because I want to talk about the subject, but it's a touchy subject to talk about, so we're not going to talk about it here, but I don't want you to think I've skipped your question. It's from Gabriel, who says, what are your thoughts on the Israel-Palestine topic? Again, I might talk about this on my Patreon. I don't think this is the right place to talk about it. Olamide says, what's your ideal type of woman in terms of looks? Natural, always has been, always will be. Like, I'm not, look, each their own, but I'm not with all the weave and shit. Just don't like it. Most of the girls actually that's bullshit, not most. But my last 2 or 3 proper, like, long term, like, I had one for nearly 10 years before that, a couple of years before that, a couple of years, all like dreads. One of them bald headed. Like, I'm a natural, so I know people might start laughing about it, but I'm a natural kind of guy. I don't do the weave shit. Mike Bike says, how often do you smoke weed? Never. I never smoke weed. I'm not a weed smoker, man. I smoked a few cigars when I've gone to Cuba, but never smoked weed. A lot of my friends do. I just haven't done it. I'm a Cuban cigar type of guy, and a whiskey or brandy drinker. That's it. All right, last question, peeps. I do apologize for this. I always say I apologize, yeah, because I'm a fucking nice guy. But I watch other people's Q&As, and like, I obviously answer about, I don't know how many questions, 70, 80. They answer 3 or 4, max 10. And like, I'm always apologetic, answering like nearly 100. All right, Damian Brooks says, thanks, Ali, for all you do for us. No, what you do for me, guys. Give a good analysis of Stipe versus DC, Usman versus Burns, and lastly, Volkanovski versus Holloway. Stipe versus DC. I can kind of see it going the way it went the second time round, you know. I'm kind of seeing it going that way. Interesting fight, you know. I'm going Stipe stoppage again. 3-4. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I like Cormier, but he's out, isn't he? Cormier said he was going to retire last year. He's done. He wanted one big payday, and that big payday was supposed to be against Brock Lesnar. Hasn't happened. I think Stipe stops him. I think he stops him to the body again, kind of like what he did last time. Usman Burns is tough to call. Tough to call. Burns looked really good against Woodley, but so did Usman. Usman looked good against Kobe Covington as well. I just think Usman, obviously a better wrestler. I think Burns could be the better striker. If it goes to the ground as well, Burns has better jiu-jitsu. I think it's going to be a stand-in fight though, and I think Usman might lose this one. I hope he doesn't because of the Nigerian thing, but I don't know. I don't know. He was close to getting that Kobe Covington fight until we stopped him was close, you know. Burns is a bit fresher as well, so we'll see. Volkanovski versus Holloway. I think Holloway is going to get his belt back. I do. I think this little break is good. I think Volkanovski is good. That first fight was pretty close. So I know some people had it Holloway, but I didn't think so, by the way. But I think Holloway probably didn't respect Volkanovski. I think he's going to get his belts back. And then I think that's the last time we see him at 145 pounds. And then I think he'll go to 155. He tried to go to 155 before. In fact, Poirier lost. But I think they'll go to 155 after. All right, guys, we are done. So many questions. Can't get through them all. I do apologize. Peace.